something a little different today. We are doing an impromptu single on a Saturday night, just for an opportunity to talk to you, and we're doing a mentoring moment, so everybody has a chance to talk to Darrin Henson. So, Darrin Henson, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here with you.
So what brings you to Philadelphia?
Well, right now I'm on a promotional book tour of my new book, which is called Pregnant with Thoughts. And, I had to slide through Philly.
Absolutely. Pregnant with Thoughts. Listen, I saw originally when he texted me the cover, I said, oh wow, that's pretty controversial. You see him with the belly. What inspired you to do that?
Well, really, it really is biblical. And it's shocking, clearly, the cover to see a man, any man, with a pregnant belly. But the book is called Pregnant with Thoughts, and it was written and designed to assist people, and it's based upon the law of attraction. And, birth, look, it's the beginning and it's the ending of something. It's the end of carrying and it's delivering. So, the number 9 being the number of woman and a pregnant number, again, beginning and endings, which most of us are going through. Like people in 2018 are always talking about, this is my year, it's a new year, resolutions, I can feel the energy change. Well, that means the old ways have gone, and now you have new ways that are being ushered in. That's what this book is about. So it's designed to assist people so they can help themselves.
Absolutely, we all need help. I am definitely in a transitional season in my life, which is why we're here doing it this way. This is one of your friends right here. Stormy Weather is actually your friend, and I actually surprised him with all of this. Like, hey, let's go. You have any questions?
Once again, I want to welcome the brother Darrin Henson to Single on a Saturday Night Urban Expressions. Most use the term being woke. That's the term now for being raising your consciousness, transitioning into a higher mental state of being woke. What is it about that ideal of being woke that is what you want to present and push out for others that may not know you in that capacity, that may only know you from the choreography, that may only know you from soul food and from the movies? What is this aspect of your life that you want people to ascertain about you and about themselves going forward?
Well, really, it's about ascension. It's about growth. And it's about staying aware and awake of knowing that you're unfolding. Things are always working out for you. Not things are working out. Things are always working out for you means present tense. So a lot of the times, people focus on the blessings. They go, oh, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. But they want the blessing without the lesson. And every blessing is going to bring a lesson. And not every lesson is easy. You see? So it's kind of like wanting to be wealthy without having to do the work. Right? So if we take a seed, we know that the seed, within the DNA of the seed, it has everything it needs to create that apple tree. And then the apple tree produces the apples, which gives us sustenance. But within that little seed holds all that information. It's the same thing with us. Things that we see in life, things that we hear in life, things that we may or may not even be aware of in life, we're surrounded by. And so our position is to be awake to those things. Because through the application of being awake, we can use and utilize those things in our lives to work for us, which can help enhance our lives. And that's what we want. We just want really great lives. It's not about the end result, it's about the journey to it. And so many people think it's just about the end. And I tell people, look, if you're looking to make $1 million, to some people that's a lot of money. To others, that's no money at all. But if you were able to get $1 million tomorrow, by next Monday, you would want $1 million more. So you're never going to be satisfied because we never get it done. There's always more. So it's always going to be about the process and the journey. And once we become fulfilled with the unfolding, then we can live better lives.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the book, I heard you earlier talking about you do things in a different way. More so, you keep the business to yourself. The platform is on your website. It's on your platform. How did you get started with doing things like that, making sure you're control of your platforms and your products?
Well, I read a book years ago called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then there's another book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So just these two particular books alone Well, I'll name one more, Unleash the Giant Within, Tony Robbins. They talked about entrepreneurship, they talked about giving, they talked about of being used to people, and they talked about being selfish enough to care about how you individually feel. And within all of these books, I learned that, you know, the companies that we purchase from, they're pre-existing companies. Like take Amazon, for instance. Amazon, when you purchase something from Amazon, it goes to Amazon. So I said, I want to do what Amazon does. I don't want somebody having to go to a third party to buy something that I've created. So what I designed, I said, I have a website. It's virtual. That means people have credit cards. They can go on with a punch of their credit card. We'll receive the information. I can sign books. I can sign DVDs, hats, clothing, whatever. We send it straight to the consumer. That makes it easy. What it also does is it gives me a personal relationship with my fans, and I love that. I love meeting people in the street who are wearing a shirt or holding a book or has something that they purchased from my website that I've signed, and I get to meet and greet them. That's a personal relationship that I have with my fans, and I love that.
Absolutely. I think we all need to take a breath to really think about this, because we have two authors here, which is me personally. I want to be a mentor to different people. So what advice could you give to the two young ladies? They may have questions over there that, because they're just coming out, they're doing this. Actually, they have you have two books and you have one. So what advice could you give to them to move forward with their project?
What I would say is do what you've always done, which is to continually ask questions, because when you ask questions, answers need to be provided. And it's like when we were in grade school, we asked questions to learn, and then there was a test at the end of the week. Well, in life, we're always being tested. It doesn't matter how old you are, right? We're always being tested. So never stop asking questions. Therefore, you never stop searching for answers. And continue developing and continue growing. And always ask more of yourself than anybody could ever ask of you. That way you'll always be prepared.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Do you have a question of your own, or you want? Okay. You can work mine.
Okay. So my name is Miracle Johnson, and one of the questions I ask any author is, why did you want to write your book? What made you think that your story was so different? And how did you go about getting it out there and saying, listen, I want to share my story? And what was your thoughts when the first person you met that read your book walked up to you? What did you say to them? Was it a shocking feeling? Was you know, what was the emotions? I know my emotion. I was grateful and I still was a little confused, but I want to know.
Well, the thing about when I started to write books was I realized that it wasn't about me. I stand in front of my story only so I can be agreeable to someone else who needs assistance about where they're going. You know, I am living a wonderful life. I have a wonderful life, and I am still growing and unfolding. And so what I've done is I've put my lessons and my blessings in formats like Pregnant with Thought, like Intimate Thoughts in the Spirit of Change, like Ain't That the Truth, where people can read it, and in their difficult times, they can read something the same way I read books that helped me to unfold and helped me be purposeful, and afforded me an opportunity to go in a direction that I desired. So when I hit the bump in the road, I was going, oh, they're going to be bump in the road. You know what I mean? There are going to be a lot of bumps in the road. Just keep going. As long as you keep going, you'll reach your destination. It's when you stop and you keep looking back that, you know, you can miss your blessings.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to pass this along to Ms. Vivian, the book author, the book diva.
Hey, how you doing? First, I just want to say congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
Just like Miracle said, I like to know the why behind what made you write your book, as well as the biggest lesson that you learned when you were, you know, going through with your project. What was the biggest lesson that you learned from this?
The biggest thing for me was knowing that people needed help, that people wanted help. And it would have been incredibly selfish of me not to write the books. Because where I can't be, a book can. You know, I can't be everywhere at one time, but a book can travel anywhere. And so that was one of the main things, and I had learned that because somebody had given me an opportunity by writing a book. And so I thought it's good to be selfish, because when we're selfish, we care about how we feel, but then you don't want to be over selfish where you don't spread your story that could inspire someone else. And the first person that read my book, I think probably was my dad. My very first book. And it was very important because I didn't have a relationship with my father until I was 27. So it was really interesting where a lot of young men go, I don't need a father in my life, or he wasn't there. Really, he's just upset. But if he tells the truth when he's by himself, he really wanted his dad around. And if he has the opportunity to meet his dad, he'll probably yell, scream, kick and curse, and then he'll probably cry, because that's what he really wanted to do anyways, to tell his father he loves him, and to be told by the father that the father loves him. So it was important for me because I put a lot of my life, my first book, Intimate Thoughts in the Spirit of Change, is autobiographical. And again, intimate thoughts and the spirit of change. We have to change, because when we don't change, we feel like we're dying. When we don't grow, we feel like we're dying. So it's important to change. I believe come as you are, don't stay as you are.
Thank you. I really enjoyed your book.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we have more questions right here on Single on a Saturday Night. You know, this guy likes to talk. So I am not going to hold the mic from him because I know he likes to talk. So go ahead.
Well, first, brother, you hit something on the head. Pops, I love you, because you heard the brother talking about brothers not having a relationship with their father, but you've been there for all and every in my life. So I love you, Papa. Sorry. So with that, I am my product, Brother Darrin. I don't have a book. I don't have artwork. I don't have anything tangible besides the 6'2", 320-pound frame and my memory. How, in my position, can I, just as you said, when you say keep going, keep pushing. Shelly was familiar with the product that I had previously. That's what got me into this here. So I believe in building relationships and expounding on those. But now that I'm looking to get into the grander foray, like my cohorts with their books, mine is my talent, my holding a microphone and having conversations and being on stage and film. Now, again, those that know you for such, how would somebody like myself in that same foray be mentored or look for somebody to help me to get to that next level, that next echelon in my career? Because you know, you see the grades coming in, you know, I don't know how much time I have, but I'm trying to maximize what I have.
I mean, I think it's really simple. I think everything starts with self. And I humbly say that. I don't know a lot. And the more I learn, I know that I know less. And for me, I always tell people, just put your hand on your heart. Stop. Peace, be still. And while your hand is on your heart, just take deep breaths and ask yourself, what is it that I really want? And then sit there and wait for the answer. And then once you get the answer, ask your heart again, what is the best way for me to get that? And your heart will know. I think so many of us are always looking outside of ourselves. We're looking outside of ourselves for the answers, and the answers inside. The answers, we already know the answers, but we cover our ears and we cover our hearts, and we literally cover our spirits with noise, and we stop listening. And if we just listen, the answers would show up immediately. I'm talking in a nanosecond. They just show up. And then once the answers show up, you must be disciplined enough to act upon the answer and trust and have faith that God has provided that answer for you, and go. Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just one step at a time. And I truly believe that if you just are patient with yourself and allow God to speak to you in a way, in your way, and you trust and have faith that what is meant for you, you will have, and know that you got to keep moving forward, it will happen better than you could ever imagine.
That's deep. So Now I'm going to definitely do that because I am in the process of doing all that. But is there any time in that you've ever had a doubt? Because when you give your resume, choreographer, producer, writer, you have a lot of, they call this now the serial entrepreneur, but the serial person who has a lot of talent. Did you ever once doubt where you were going, or did you always know, okay, I'm going to start with choreography and then I'm going to move on to this? Did you always know that you had a lot of different skills and talents within you?
The answer is yeah, I'm human. Yeah, I've doubted before. I went through, many different hardships which helped develop me today. I've gone through heartaches and heartbreaks like anybody, and I've, had failures. I don't think that anybody who succeeds doesn't have failures. A lot of times those who succeed the most fail more than the average because they try more. And there are times where I didn't get out of my bed for a week, because I was in depression until I got angry enough to go, I don't want to feel depressed. And then I got angry and figured out anger is a step above depression. And then I said, now I've got to change things. And what I found that in life, really, you can't control anybody or anything. You can't control the way people think. You can't control what they feel, and you definitely can't control the way people treat you. But what you can control are your thoughts and your actions. And so many of us get in trouble trying to control somebody else, trying to make things better, trying to build things. No. See what you get, see what you're getting, make a decision about that, and know whether it's good for you or if not. And what I say, if it doesn't evolve me, it doesn't involve me.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning of this because choreography, I'm not a dancer, but no one knows that I really wanted to be a dancer. I really did. I tried it. My sister and I over there, there was the audition. It's funny. There was an audition for dancers and singers. Not necessarily I'm not a singer, but we said, yeah, we could do it. So we get there, we do the dancing and we're singing, and we do the whole thing. But afterwards, they came to us and said, listen, we played back the tape, and somebody was off key. And I want to take the blame because
you don't know who was off key, but the key didn't open the door.
He didn't open the door, but dancing is what I've always wanted to do. Believe it or not, and I still do. I dance any time of the day. So I love to dance. So how did you actually get started? What was the first thing you did to get started in dance and choreography?
In my earlier years, I did a lot of dancing in my bedroom because I was on punishment a lot. So, right? So I had to stay in my room a lot. So I made the best out of that time. But I was able to grow up during a real key time where the Jacksons, James Brown, Tom Jones, some of y'all I'm going too far back, but that's what I grew up on. So I grew up on watching Danny Kaye, Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and we had those movies around, and I just used to practice in my room. And to be honest, that was my early dancing days. And to be honest, I really dove deep into choreography, and this is a true story because I used to work with a choreographer who used to choreograph for Salt and Pepper. And I used to dance with Salt and Pepper, and I hated doing the choreography, but I wanted to dance in videos. And I didn't like the way his choreography felt on my body. It felt very feminine. And so I literally just decided to go, I'm a choreographer. And I started practicing my style. And then later on, I got videos like Color Me Bad, Sex You Up that I choreographed, High Five, She's Playing Hard to Get. I did SWV's first videos, which was Right Here and So Into You. And the list goes on. And that's how I got into the choreography game. Actually, my very first music video that I've ever danced in ever was from a rapper that came from Philadelphia, and his name was MC Rel in the House Rockers.
Wow. Do you know that?
I know of Rel.
You know of
Rel. That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
MC Rel in the House Rockers. See, I could have had.
Yeah, shout out to MC Rel.
That's my very first music.
Shout out to MC Rel. You look what you made, brother.
MC Rel in the House Rockers.
MC Rel, I'm gonna have to holler at you. I ain't gonna find you.
He sounds. You can see it. He's on YouTube. You can see the video. You see me dancing in it too, and he sounds exactly like Rakim.
Yeah.
His voice sounded exactly like Rakim.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't know that Philadelphia history right there. I'm ashamed.
I got you, Philly. I got you.
Yeah, hold it down.
You're so busy being a part of Philadelphia history, Shelly. You know what it is. But bruh, all right, okay, off that for a second. When that first check came, homie, when that first check came, what was that feeling?
Okay, so just so you know, I did not get paid from MC Rel in the house.
I wasn't going that route.
That was
Since
the
we there,
but this
sorry,
is,
bro.
no. But this is what we're talking about, and this is what Think and Grow Rich talks about. It talks about being an apprentice first.
Right.
I mean, Puffy can tell you that, right?
Yes.
He was an apprentice to Andre Harrell. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you got to start giving before you could ever get. And I put in years of doing stuff without being paid. But what it did was it sharpened, right, my iron. And then I went in, and I remember the first check that I got was from Lionel Martin, who owned a company called Classic Concepts. And he is the director. Shout out to Lionel Martin. You know, I always give him his due respect because he's the one that started me in the game as a dancer and a choreographer. And I got paid $1,000 to choreograph a video for a guy named Don Newkirk. And that was my very first music video that I choreographed. And the second was for Color Me Bad. It was Sex You Up. And then I did High Five, She's Playing Hard to Get. I got paid $1,000. And that was like
That's a lot of money.
$10 back then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was like, I'm making a G.
Inflation killing us now.
Like, what? I'm paid right now. I'm making a G, son. You know what I mean? Like, I got paid $1,000 for dancing, and I thought, I like this. You know what I mean? I can get paid for doing what I love.
Right. They say it's not working.
It's never work when you do what you love. You don't work a day in your life.
Absolutely. I want to get paid for dancing. I still have that dream. Where is my dream? Who can I dance for? All right, out there, I'm putting it out there. I want to be your background dancer. I'm not going to sing, but I will dance. That's what I'm going to do. That's definitely what I'm going to do. So, all right, so you are in town. You're promoting for your book, but you're also in New York doing something else.
Yes, I'm hosting an Aquarius party. This is the first of its kind.
Aquarius?
A Taurus hosting
I'm
an
Aquarius.
right?
Yeah.
So Donnie Wahlberg and Ice-T are Aquarians, but they got a Taurus hosted with them. So I guess, you know, Aquarians love Tauruses. But it's all good, you know? You know?
Taurus too.
All right, shout out.
No, I'm an Aquarius, so shout out to all the Aquarius out there. And my sister over there who was an Aquarius. All right, so you're doing an Aquarius party. So do you go all around? Is this like, do you do parties? Is that something you do?
All the time. I get called to host all the time, you know, so I'm always appreciative and thankful that people love me, love my face and my voice, and, you know, want to meet and greet me, and I love hosting, so, you know, it's a lot of fun seeing people turn up, you know.
I could imagine.
So Philly, holla at me.
Hey, Philly, listen, we put it all out there. Philly, holla at you.
Don't call them to hear from me first. Don't mess up my little hosting.
Is that a plug or something? You wanna
We're continuing on with the show.
No, okay, I just
We're not going to do that in front of company.
Okay, no, okay, go ahead.
When I read about you and everything, one of my idols growing up was NSYNC. I was an NSYNC fanatic to the point I still know their songs. Britney Spears. So you're an idol to me. Because here it is, I thought that they created their moves, and I'm getting to sit next to the person that, you know, helped them create it. So when you meet people like myself that didn't know you behind the scenes, and, you know, I want to say thank you. Thank you, because I was in there doing the crazy bye-bye dances, and God must have spent a little bit more time driving myself crazy. Those things I'm honored, but even more so, in my books, I talk about black men not being drug dealers or athletes and making money, but the black man that is corporate America that went different routes, as you said, you don't sell your books on Amazon, that did different routes to become millionaires. I wanted to put a challenge on it. So for the young men that's around who think they have to be in the statistics or that's pressure, what advice do you give to them? You know, you said stay true to yourself. I tell people stay true to yourself and don't play for the applause. Do it because you love it. That's the biggest thing.
The applause come, like I said earlier today, you know, a lot of people do things for the gram. And if you're doing it for the gram, then you get your just due. It's kind of like in scripture when it says, don't be like the heathens who pray you know, because they, you know, in public, but they already have received their just reward. You know what I mean? So do it in private, where your Lord knows your heart, right? So, and I'm paraphrasing, but what that simply means is once you understand what entrepreneurship is, once you understand the focus of building wealth and then reinvesting in yourself, you'll start caring about you more. You'll start leading your money back to you. And then once you receive it, you'll invest it, you'll reinvest it. And that's just what I learned to do. Because you have all of these other places that are kind of like avenues and bridges. Well, I create my own avenue or my own bridge. You know, it's like Will Smith, he has the Overbrook Company, or Ice Cube, he has Cube Vision. Nick Cannon, you know, he has, you know, incredible. So all these people figured out, why do I need a middleman? And it's the same thing with me. Like, why? I have a website, so people can deal with me directly. You know, if there's something wrong, we'll deal with the customers directly. You know, I believe that the customer's always right. Either you like something or you don't. But we will honor, you know, our contract with you because we want to have a relationship with you. This is what this is about. It's about having interrelationships and relationships with people and understanding how to grow and to monetize. We can build our own Black Wall Street. We can build our own blue, whatever color Wall Street you want to call it. But we understand that money is green. But even beyond money being green, which is for life, and this is what I learned, there's a reason that money is the color green. Green is necessary for life. You know, there's oxygen in green. There's alkaline in green. You need green to live. No matter where you go, if you look behind yourself, you'll find green. And I did this study already. No matter where you go, I don't care where you stand, if you look behind yourself, you'll find green because it's a necessary color. And so, you know, I'm very protective about it. It's my favorite color. You know?
When you said that Ice Cube, Nick Cannon, they all started, and the one thing I always say, if the front door is locked, guess what, the back door. If the back door is locked, there's a window. And if it doesn't want to work, blow it up and build your own house. So thank you.
That's like an old saying, you know, run. If you can't run, walk. And if you can't walk, crawl. Just keep moving.
Keep going. Pull yourself from the pain.
All right, I believe in creating opportunities for people, creating opportunities for us. I don't want to be selfish of your time, but I am selfish because I decided, like, listen, I want more of your time. If I have your time right now, we're going to
hear something that's going to make a difference. And, you know, the great thing about film is it's forever. And so hopefully we've all said something that's going to help manifest something in somebody's life that's going to help change their life for the better. And that's what's important. And you can't rush that. It's in God's time.
Absolutely. So, does anybody have no questions? I'm going to sign off for today because the audience has a question. You can ask if you would like. You can tell us the question because this is video because we can edit. So you can tell me the question or ask the question.
Hey, well, since you put it out there, now I know you said you also worked with Prince. As far as the whole thing and how you do your book and everything like that, I know he was one of those that was definitely on that. And I was wondering if maybe that's who might have kind of also added to what you were feeling as far as like do your own and all that, because he was very strong on that.
Yeah, you know, it's so amazing because, again, if you remember, Prince, he left a mark on our heart, but also when he was going through what he was going through fighting his good fight, he wrote slave on his face. Mm-hmm. And he wrote slave on his face because he really wanted people to really understand what happens. You know, there's an old saying that says, if you don't own your masters don't own you.
Yes.
And it's so real. Like, you know, people, you know, they enter into these contracts and, you know, attract to something that goes round and around. You know what con is, right? So it keeps you running in a circle. And as I used earlier today, it talked about dogs chasing their tails. And, you know, James Brown owning his masters or Chuck Berry owning his masters. There's legacy there for people to understand and know. Even on the internet now, you know, with Apple Music or, you know, iTunes in a way, you know, artists get to own their own and then you give a little bit to Apple. That's great that we can do that now opposed to how record companies used to rape people, you know? So, yeah, so it's amazing. I mean, I even talked about this, mentioning Jim Brown. Think about it. At his heyday, $25,000 contract, 25,000. What?
Right.
They get that for an appearance now, right? So you're talking about millions of dollars. But think about it again. If these basketball, football, baseball players are getting 90, 100 million, think about how much the owners are getting.
Yes.
So that's what we're saying. So when it talks about ownership, when we're talking about entrepreneurship, when we're talking about owning something, it's so important. And it's so important to hold on. Look at Dave Chappelle. He walked away from 50 million and then came back and got 60 million from Netflix. That's what I'm talking about. That's a flip because he was patient and he knows his worth. Do you know your worth? That's the question.
That is the question. We're going to end on that.
I got one more question for him.
We got one
All
more
right, we know you got Chocolate City 3 coming. You're working on that already. It's in the works. Is it going to be a 4?
Well, my character, I can't say too much, but if it's a 4, you won't see Darrin in Chocolate City. I'm very, very thankful to the director, producer, and writer Jean-Claude Lemaire, who's Haitian. Amazing man. Talk about entrepreneur. Talk about man of ownership. I mean, he's a man who just said, "I'm going to do mine independently." Created Chocolate City, welcomed me there. Chocolate City 2. Welcomed me, and in Chocolate City 3. 4, you won't see me, and there's a reason why you won't see me, but I can't answer that about 4. Yeah.
Can I ask you about
So,
camera?
can I ask you a question? So, since he brought this up with the movie, so you are dancing in these movies and everything, but are you actually doing all the choreography, or are you just doing doing the part?
For Chocolate City 1, I did the choreography, not Chocolate City 2. For Stomp the Yard, I did all my own individual choreography,
Okay.
and then another guy choreographed the actual movie and all the step routines. So, because I choreograph, I like choreographing myself in my solo stuff. And then when it comes to group routines in those films, somebody else did it.
So with choreography, is there a proprietary thing? You know how some people, like the guy who Let's Get Ready Rumble, he trademarked it. And are you able to trademark choreography or things like that?
No, you can't. I mean, there's no new step under the sun. So you can't trademark choreography, and it shouldn't be, because dance is freedom. Dance is freedom, and it's for everybody. If somebody looks at something, they're like, oh, I want to move like that. Let me see how that feels. They should be able to do it. So no, you can't trademark choreography. Yeah.
I just wondered, I always wondered, because we have to say, okay,
I wish I did.
That's my move.
I was watching the Plantains Peanut commercial one time, and I choreographed a video for Jordan Knight, and the Plantains Peanut is actually doing the choreography. So I wish I could have been able to trademark that one, because I'd have been even more big, right?
Exactly.
But no, you can't trademark choreography.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you could do it too, because you have like, that's my move, like this is my move, and you would want to be able to say, because that man is going to be paid for the rest of his life. Let's get ready to, I don't even want to say it, it's just in case. Let's just in case, let's get ready to do whatever we're going to do.
Didn't Chuck Berry try to trademark some moves that a particular guy they call a kick or something was doing?
Oh, you talking about with the,
I mean, yeah, I watch Cadillac Records a lot.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, what's interesting to me, and because you brought up NSYNC and then being, Caucasian, I thought about it, and I remember when I was choreographing for all these artists who, are Caucasian, that I thought, you know what, something tells me Elvis got a black choreographer. You just never saw him. And I was like, I'm not gonna let that happen to me. So, and I honestly said that. I was like, I'm not gonna let that happen to me. I'm gonna let the whole world know that a black man is behind me. And that was important for me to let people know.
so what did you do to let people know? I'm sorry, what did you do? What was the move that you made? Did you go?
I did shows exactly like I'm doing now. Every time I had the opportunity to tell people that's me, that's my move, I told them.
Absolutely. There you go. Good.
We knew. But we went back to the beginning with the choreography, but where we are now. How can folks get their hands on this book and this product?
Thank you for asking. Very simply, everything is sold directly on my website, darrinhenson.com, www.darrinhenson.com, and I sign all the books.
So you know what you need to do. So to go pick it right up. Pick it up. And for everybody, you know, we're gonna make sure we're gonna get some people in here so we can sign so they can get to know you and go around. So thank you so much. We appreciate
I
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you. And